usually in instances where the blood pressure has become severely elevated. So let's say maybe 160. The diastolic is very important. The diastolic usually is supposed to be for the highest. 85 is acceptable under normal circumstances. You're not speaking about exercise or if you're doing any sort of training or anything like that. If you have some sort of emotional upset, someone maybe angers you, whatever the case may be. An individual who usually has healthy circulation, an individual who has a healthy blood pressure situation, even in situations of, excessive rage, anger, the blood pressure wouldn't reach the point to cause things like brain aneurysms or stroke. So, that's one of the reasons why I am so passionate as it relates to hypertension and diabetes, because I tell persons, hypertension especially could kill you in a very short space of time. If your blood pressure becomes so elevated, especially during sleep, because there are some persons who have that problem that even during sleep, the blood pressure can become so elevated that you're going to end up with a cardiovascular accident. So that is something you need to pay very close attention to. Those of you who have been diagnosed with hypertension, it is vitally essentially important that you ensure that you monitor and maintain, your figures. So if you go, let's say you're 65 years and your blood pressure would read 135 over 80, 85. That is good. That's nothing to be concerned about. If you go up to even, I would say 135 max on your top number, your lower number, 90. If you're seeing figures higher than that, then it is essentially important that you, start to do something to address that. Water is a vitally important aspect associated with hypertension, hydration, which is something I've consistently mentioned. And, I think a lot of persons maybe now started to understand how important it is to become or to maintain one's hydration levels. We, as it relates to hydration, there's a simple rule. It's your body weight divided by 2 in ounces. So it means if you weigh 160 pounds, half of 160 is 80. It means your daily intake. Keep in mind, your daily, right? Not your monthly, not your weekly, not every 2 days, not every 3 days, but your daily hydration. What are we speaking about here? Or sensible, beneficial liquids, which does not include things like milk and soft drink and juice and those type of things. We're not talking about that. Energy drinks and no. We're speaking about pure, unadulterated water. Good? So that's something that you need to pay very close attention to. One of the things we do at Batson Associates is a test or known as a magnetic resonance analysis scan. Now, magnetic resonance, the word resonance actually means vibrational matching. Now, the human body has frequency or vibration. In fact, everything in once it has an atom, has some sort of frequency or vibration. And what this machine actually has the ability to do is actually pick up the resonance, that vibrational matching, and actually now give us a reading fundamentally on different aspects of circulation in the body. So it is actually able to determine, for example, the amount of blood that is supposed to be going to your brain. So there are a lot of persons who have situations where they might be experiencing headaches, they might be experiencing problems to sleep, they might be experiencing memory problems, you might be experiencing dizziness. Dizziness is a big thing now with a lot of individuals. And a lot of the times the reason that you are experiencing that is because you do not have or you're not getting sufficient blood flow to your brain. So because of that situation, you are now in a state where you're not having proper nutrients, because remember the main purpose and the sole purpose primarily of blood, or main purpose, is for the transportation of oxygen and nutrients to cells. The removal of waste plays an integral part in the circulatory system as well, coupled with the help that you get from your lymphatic system. But that is primarily the reason for blood. So if you're not getting proper blood flow, blood circulation to your brain, it's going to affect your eyesight. it's going to affect your hearing. It's going to affect your balance. So that's something that you need to pay very close attention to. So you can always feel free to give us a call or visit at any one of our clinic locations. I'll give you the clinic locations and the telephone numbers in a little while. Keep in mind, we have started our pensioner package, and that's something that we have been working on. Because pensioners at the end of the day deserve to have certain, what's the word I want to use, boy? Benefits. We'll take that for now, right? As regards. So that is something that you can feel free call. The price is excellent. The services that you're getting, excellent. The consultation by the consultants is second to none. So, you're really going to get value for money. And most importantly, it is in a range where it is a bit more affordable, so that you'd be able to benefit and really get some information protocol to really become healthier or improve one's health. Let me say a pleasant good morning to our Facebook listeners. We have Kati Ses Noriega. She says, good morning, Dr. Batson. Josie Smith, who is actually in from London. So pleasant good morning to London. Miss Shelley George says, good morning, Dr. Batson. Michelle Legans, good morning. And she's asking, what candida support by now is good for you? Okay, so I guess if you could be a little more clearer with that question. I didn't get what you're trying to ask, so I don't know if it's a typo or something, but just ask the question again. That's Michelle Degans. Let me say a pleasant good morning to Miss Brenda Newton. She says, morning, Dr. Batson. I'll be visiting your office in Davie today, going to get my water and my silver. Great products. Happy to meet Miss Roma. Thanks so very much for that. So as it relates to, that particular situation, one has to really pay attention to the hypertension. Let me also say, as it relates to our international clients, Ms. Josie Smith says, any benefits for pensioners abroad? Yeah, of course, man. I will do that. I will do that for you all. That's no problem, man. Miss Jennifer Titus, she says, listening from Tampa. Great morning, Dr. Batson. So we have Florida in the house. We also have London in the house. Nice, man. So, one of the things I was saying, as it relates to our international clients, even products, we have actually significantly improved that feature where we can now send your products to you without much issues. I mean, we're still in the process of finishing various aspects of the website and those payment portals and those type of things. But in the meantime, we have, especially as it relates to the nerve restore, as it relates to the balanced circulation, as it relates to, these are products that we carry, that have helped individuals significantly. The circulation tea, we also carry a product called inflammation formula. Very good product. It helps with pain, those persons who may have problems in the joints and that type of thing. So that's something you could actually look forward to. So once Shaki provides me with the information, I will be able to give you those telephone numbers and, of course, the numbers that you can call for the international clients, your international consultations and what not. Michelle George is saying, did you get the circulation and hypertension team, Michelle George? We are working assiduously to get that. That product is here, but we're having some challenges with, we're having some challenges. So we are working on it, and we're going to have that problem rectified. It's an issue that we're having, in our wonderful country, as it relates to the effectiveness and efficiency of, people who are supposed to do the work that they hired to do. Right? So that's something that we're just waiting on, but it is going to be rectified shortly. And, I do apologize for the wait, but, we're working on it. Miss Ovalette McFarlane, she says, good morning, Dr. Batson, and everyone. Have a pleasant weekend to all. A pleasant good morning to Natasha Phillips. And Miss Josie Smith is asking the question, what products can you use for cancer? The thing is, when you're looking at cancer, regardless of the type of cancer, I mean, cancer essentially, in all aspects of the body is primarily the same, I mean, you're going to be told, or, you know, it has been mentioned on numerous occasions that, you know, pancreatic cancer is different from colorectal cancer. Colorectal cancer may be different from prostate cancer. Technically, at its core, or fundamentally is the word I should use, at its core, is basically the same. So what you're looking to do, because you have excessive oxidative stress in the body, because you have excessive inflammatory response in the body, you are now in a situation where you have gotten cancer. Because you have to understand that cancer is a situation where the body, let me say a pleasant good morning to Ms. Avian Thompson. Good morning to you. So cancer has to have an environment that is conducive for its benefit or its upkeep, right? So think about it like this. If there's something in integrative medicine, or in medicine on the whole, known as biological terrain. Now, biological terrain simply means the terrain or the environment that exists in order for any organism to thrive. So let me see. That's the best explanation I can give. So when you look at, let's say, the desert. So that's what we're going to use that example. The desert has particular types of plants, cacti primarily, that have adapted over a period of time in order to survive in that environment. You all follow me? Good. Now the thing is, lettuce cannot grow in the desert under normal circumstances. I mean, unless they put some kind of special beds and soil, or they do hydroponics or something. But in the general sense, it cannot survive in that biological terrain simply because it has not adapted, or it just cannot survive. So the same applies when you're looking at things like cancer, especially ovarian cancer in women. Joseph Smith is asking about that. Because you have to now change the environment that is allowing cancer to thrive. And, you know, I always tell persons I am not in the politics of medicine. When I was younger, you know, I used to make plenty noise, and I do that again. You know, I believe in results. I believe in knowledge. I believe in people, you know, really doing some reading and some research and find out things for themselves, especially if you have been diagnosed with cancer, because a lot of times you're going to be bombarded with a lot of information. And even if you go the route of doing chemotherapy and radiation, you have to take into consideration that is going to cause extensive damage to your body. I mean, that's a fact. So you now have to ensure that your dietary requirements, your supplemental requirements, your micronutrients, your macronutrients, your vitamins is optimal. Your absorption and assimilation in the body is optimum, so that you could actually be able to get better, correct that particular situation. So that's what you need to do. So Ms. Smith, you're looking at some of the products we carry at Baxter & Associates that will help with that, because there are specialist or specialized products that we carry that if I have a cancer patient to deal with, I may not necessarily stock those products or stock it in a large amount, but it can be ordered and get very quickly for that particular client. And there are a number of things. There's glutathione is one that we use, which is the master antioxidant. In order for any antioxidants to work in the body, glutathione is the master antioxidant. Glutathione is actually produced in your liver. The problem is most persons, especially cancer individuals, have very low glutathione levels. So, you know, that's something that is going to help in that situation. There's a product we carry called Inflammation Formula. That's going to help in that situation. There's also a product we carry called Nerve Restore, which is actually an adaptogen. That is going to help in that situation. There's also a product that we have called, and even from the natural aspects in terms of home, juicing, greens. Cancer doesn't like green. It doesn't like lettuce. It doesn't like curry. It doesn't, because what it does, it now is attempting, or those things are going to attempt, and successfully, once it is done long enough and consistently enough, you know, it is actually going to be able to correct that biological terrain that we're speaking about. So it's very, very important that you understand the fundamentals of the human body, and a lot of people don't understand that. You know, they don't understand how important it is to drink water. We have a situation in this country now, and quite frankly all over the world, where we have a lot of young women that are plagued with things like polycystic ovarian syndrome, fibroids, infertility problems, adenomyosis, endometriosis, which is thickening of the uterine lining. So in a situation like that, what you end up happening is you are now actually, because of all this oxidative stress, because of all this inflammatory response in the body, always keep in mind two things. If you are very, very sick, whether you're diabetic, hypertensive, you get cancer, you have cancer, your body, the oxidative stress is exceedingly high in the body. And as a result of that, the biological terrain has now become in such a way that it creates an environment that is going to be conducive to disease. It is going to encourage disease to prosper. That is what it is. Okay, so feel free to give us a call or visit those telephone numbers and locations. We are located on the first floor of Money Talks Building. That is Money Talks Building in Montrose, Chaguanas. That telephone number is 222-8261. That's 222-8261. We are also located in Davie. Davie is the corner of Ramsden Bush Trace and the SS Erie Main Road in Davie. We are also in Red Edge Mall, Western Main Road, St. James, as well as the Triangle Building in Scarborough, Tobago. The telephone number, as well, I'm going to give you in a little while for the international clients, as well as those telephone numbers for the international consultation. Okay, so again, the telephone number primarily is 222-8261. That's 222-8261, as well as 314-9975. Okay, let me say a pleasant good morning to Miss Annie Grant, Miss Diane Bain. She says, good morning. Blessings, Dr. Batson. All viewers, a recipe for diabetes breakfast. Okay, New York in the house. I'll give you that just now. Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Batson, for the information. My friend, okay, is waiting to hear from your staff. Okay, Ms. Smith, no problem. Yeah, so again, those telephone numbers and the locations. We are located on the first floor of Money Talks Building. That is Money Talks Building in Montrose, Chaguanas. We are also on the corner of Ramsden Bush Trace and the SS Erie Main Road in Davie. That telephone number is 223-7515. Keep in mind, Saturdays are usually open clinic days, which means you do not necessarily have to have an appointment. We take walk-ins. If you have intentions of doing any of these scans, the blood analysis, those particular tests, you just have to fast for 2 hours. That's what you need to do. But we will facilitate you with that situation in terms of being a walking client. St. James' office is located at Red Edge Mall, Western Main Road, St. James. That telephone number is 220-8113. And Tobago is the Triangle Building in Scarborough, Tobago, 226-4553. Good news for Tobago that finally, we have our new office almost completed. And that's something I'm looking forward to in the coming weeks to, launch and, of course, give the people of Tobago the attention that they so badly need. Right? It's not that Baxton Associates have forgotten you. That, believe me, that was not the case. But we're going to ensure that we do what we need to do and make up for that. Okay, good. In addition to that, the online consultations, that telephone number, of course, would be 868-373-2388. Again, that's 868-373-2388. And international clients for follow-up, because, we always do our follow-ups, call, make sure everything is good with you, that type of thing. Please call 868 or message 366-0180. So that'll be 868-366-0180. You're listening to Dr. Jason Batson, the Senior Medical Director at Batson and Associates, supporting your health naturally. So let's get back to one of the things that we were discussing. Let me say a good morning to Ms. Urta Young, says good morning. Forrestine Augustine says good morning as well. We have Instagram. So, Instagram, I know you all usually tend to be very quiet on Instagram. I don't know if you all are actually very great listeners or you're just shy. But of course, if you want to ask any questions, feel free to do so within the time that we have. But we just have like maybe about 25 minutes again. So, take advantage of the opportunity that you have. As it relates to circulation, so let's touch on circulation quickly. The circulatory system in the body is vitally important to a number of things. As I was saying at the genesis of the conversation, persons who are normally diabetic and have reached the point of having complications associated with diabetes usually suffer some serious situations. They have problems with their limbs. In some cases, you lose a toe, and then after the toe, you lose the entire leg. Some persons have lost both legs. And I mean, that's a horrific situation, in my opinion. I mean, you come into this world, you grew up, you had your two good foot, you're walking, for want of a better expression, and now you have none. You have that's unacceptable, in my opinion. Diabetes is one of the easiest things to deal with. And, you just have to understand what you're doing and be disciplined enough, because a lot of times our problem is the discipline. But the point I'm making, so with circulation, you have two types of circulation in the body primarily. You have pulmonary circulation, which is above your heart, and you have systemic circulation, which is below your heart. You also have what is referred to as peripheral circulation, or circulation in the periphery. So the word peripheral means what? Extremities, ends, right? So we're speaking about circulation in like the tips of your fingers, the tips of your toes. Right, that is what we're talking about, circulation, microcirculation. Now, remember, the way circulation is designed in the body is like a tree, right? So the trunk represents the artery, which is the largest blood vessels in terms of diameter. The veins would represent the branches. And then the smaller branches, where the veins usually hang on, would represent the capillaries. So that tree-like structure is fundamentally what your circulatory system, from a basic interpretation, looks like. I mean, when you look at it now, all the blood vessels in the body, arteries, capillaries, and veins, if you add them, or you add all of them together, or you attach them together, it could actually make the circumference of the Earth 2.5 times, which is 66,000 miles. The surface area of your arteries are, if memory serves me right, is the equivalent of about 3 or 4 NBA football fields. That's the circumference. There are linings in your blood vessels known as endothelial linings, which play a significant role in the metabolism is not the word I want to use, in the maintenance of nitric oxide. So if you ever heard about nitric oxide is one of the most important gases that is produced in the body. When you have nitric oxide at optimal levels, you cannot have a cardiovascular accident. It is impossible for you to have a cardiovascular accident because nitric oxide plays a significant role in the vasodilation and vasoconstriction of what? Blood vessels. So if you don't want to end up with a stroke, and as I was telling someone recently, this week I had, in Chabonas, I worked and I was doing a consultation. And, well, it was a revisit because this person is a stroke patient that actually came to us and, she has got the significant results. This is her 6th week with us. So she had a revisit, to go over her improvements and what needed to be improved, whatever the case may be. And you know what she said to me? She said, Dr. Batson, I listened to you on the radio, and one of the things that you always say is you don't want to get a stroke. Strokes are very difficult to deal with. They are very expensive to deal with. Because to bring that circulatory system back up and to correct the damage that has been done, because depending on the part of the brain that the stroke affects is going to determine whether it interferes with your motor skill, your vision, your speech, it depends. So you could end up in a situation where you completely and totally twist up. And to correct that, you're going to need a physiotherapist. A physiotherapist or a session with a physiotherapist is about $300. And you wouldn't need one for the week. You're going to have to see a physiotherapist maybe 4 times for the week. So that's what? 1,200 multiplied. So you're talking about almost $5,000 for the month. And that's just physiotherapy. You haven't discussed nutrition, supplementation, macronutrients, micronutrients, vitamins. You haven't discussed that. So please, please pay attention to yourself. You know you are hypertensive. Ensure that you have a monitor. A monitor is not $1 million. I am fed up of people with their excuses when you ask them, do you test your pressure? Well, no, I don't have it. No. You are doing yourself a grave injustice. And you do not find your family a grave injustice, because when you have problems, it's they are the ones who have to deal with you. Monitor your pressure, monitor your blood sugar, if you are diabetic, if you are hypertensive. Because if you do not do that, and that blood pressure goes up too high or it goes down too low, you are going to be in a situation where you're going to be in an emergency. They're going to have to rush you to the hospital. So don't do yourself that. The old people have a saying, common sense make before book, right? So you need to pay attention to that. One of the questions, let me say a pleasant, Ms. Roxanne Didier, doctor, past 3 days getting in pain, 3 days getting a pain in my shoulder on the right groin up to my neck and make me have foggy in the head. What possibly can it be? That's something like circulation. Ms. Didier, you need to call the office and let me send you, I don't know if I gave you the information for that chiropractor that I normally deal with, but I think you need to give him a visit. So let me know, give me a call and I will, or message, and I will direct you accordingly. You can message the 314-9975. Ms. Perlin Henry Ratchball, good morning to you. Ms. Joan Antoine, good morning. Ms. Joan Williams Roach, good morning to you all. Yeah, so someone is asking a question here on Instagram. They're asking, okay, could you get silent strokes? That's actually a very good question. Actually, you can. There's something in medicine known as a TIA, which is a transient ischemic attack. I'll say it again. It's a transient ischemic attack. So that's a big medical term to simply mean that you would have gotten ischemic. So strokes are divided into, well, you have two types of stroke mainly. You have ischemic stroke and you have hemorrhagic strokes. So hemorrhagic strokes are bleeding strokes, which means that at some point in time, there's some sort of bleeding in the brain. And that bleeding, of course, because remember, bleeding means that a blood vessel has what? Ruptured, it has opened. And that is not a good thing. That is not supposed to happen. So it means that you're not going to be getting proper what? Blood flow, which means you're not going to be getting proper what? Oxygen and nutrients to the parts of your brain that you need it. Good. So that's one type of stroke. The second stroke is something known as an ischemic stroke. Now, an ischemic stroke means that there was a interruption in the blood flow to the brain. And as a result of that, you now had a lapse where your part of your brain was not getting what? Oxygen and nutrients, primarily oxygen. And as a result of that, you have suffered some sort of ischemia. So usually with ischemic strokes, that ischemic situation, it depends on which part of the brain it affects. So usually, if the stroke is on the right side, it usually affects what? The left side. And if it's on the left side, it is going to affect the right side of the body. Now, that is principle primarily, but again, it depends on the part of the brain that it affects. If it interferes with the limbic system, it could interfere with speech, motor skills, sight, and that type of thing. The thing is, based on what I tell you, none of that song in there. Now, it's not a vacation. You're not going to lie down in the Bahamas and, sip on something and relax. It's not that. So you need to ensure, if you have a problem with hypertension, see if you can get Boston Associates a visit. Because we have had significant improvements with persons with it. In fact, we put up a testimony yesterday. There's a new testimony we have. What we're trying to do is trying to get as much as possible and put them up on the pages so you can see. And, someone, because that's what I asked my clients, I said, all I really asked them for is, once you have, without, divulging too much of your information, once you're comfortable in terms, because they're not, saying things, out of the way, at least do it so that someone else who has that problem could at least have some confidence you know, to at least try. Because I think that's the problem with a lot of persons. Sometimes you're sick so long and you went running all over the place and you went by so many persons, you know, you figure are fed up. But then that is unfair to me. But I mean, I understand it. That's life. You would have had experiences, because if you had multiple bad experiences and then you meet somebody who might really be good for you, you ain't really giving them the time money that you're supposed to give them because of the bad experiences that you had before. But that is, now I understand, I can empathize with you, but you have to empathize with me because you never had dealings with me, right? So that's something you need to pay attention to. Ms. Susan Baker is asking about the cost of the consultation. What you can do, please, you know, give us a call, or if you can provide some sort of information, the office will call you and give you the information. I'm not one to really call price. You know, it is something that it's just a principle I have. It's not that I'm hiding anything, or it's not like my consultation or our consultation or services are woefully expensive, but it's just a principle. When I'm on the radio and I'm speaking, I would discuss health, I would discuss specific aspects as it relates to nutrition, but I don't like to discuss price. You know, I have persons to do that. So you can call the office and they can give you the necessary information, okay? The contact information for the Shogunas office is 222-8261. That's 222-8261. David is 223-7515. That's 223-7515. The St. James office is located at Red Edge Mall, Western Main Road, St. James. That telephone number is 220, that's 220-8113. And Tobago is the Triangle Building in Scarborough, Tobago. That number is 226-4553. Keep in mind, all our overseas clients, and that number is consistently growing and growing and growing, because I know our international clients are getting a lot of great results, and I'm so glad for that. So to book your online consultation, if you're listening to this program and you're not in Trinidad, you're some other part of the world, we live in a modern world now. Consultations can be done online, okay? So to take advantage of that feature, you can give us a call or message on 1-868, which is Trinidad's area code, 373-2388. Again, that's 1-868-373-2388. As well as follow-up for existing international clients. So if you are an international client, you want to place an order, you are having a challenge, you need to speak to me, you need to get on to one of the consultants that we have, any one of the consultants, because I am not the only one, the most senior, but not the only one, right? That number you can use, 868-366-0180. Okay, Miss Betty Phillip, good morning to you. Miss Susan Baker. So that's, Miss Baker, you could do that and you would get that information. If you, you can also WhatsApp 314-9975. That's the general WhatsApp for head office. And, you know, most of the messages, or a lot of messages, would go through there as well. Okay, Ms. Joan Williams Roach, well said, Doctor, you are the best. Thank you so very much. Ms. Teresa Fort D'Souza, let me see how I'm reading this, Dr. Batson. My son started chemo 2 days ago. I believe it's pills and injections. He had a mass which was taken out from his colon. The hospital said he had 3rd stage cancer. I am not in favor of chemo. My question is, are there alternatives for chemo? One of the most controversial medical questions in the world. Of course there are. Of course there are. There are. The thing is, when coming to cancer, something I always tell persons, you have to understand that anyone who has been diagnosed with cancer, they have to be a mentally, psychologically, emotionally strong individual. If they are not, they have to become like that. Now, that is not something to do overnight. Yeah, that involves things like meditation and, you know, actually working from the body, or working with the body from a holistic perspective. Because, and the reason why I'm saying that is because fear, the fear factor is what comes in. And you have to understand that your body is primarily not only a physical body. You know, just up to last night, I was doing some research for an exam I have to sit in a little while. And one of the things that, you know, the source material and the course material was covering is energy medicine. and vital body. So you have to understand that your body is not only a physical body. The first body that you have is your spiritual body. That's the first body. And I am not just saying religious. People confuse religion with spirituality. Sad, but true. So the spiritual body is the first body. The body after your spiritual body is what is referred to as your supra-mental body. S-U-P-R-A, mental body, which is your subconscious mind. The third body is your mental, or what is known as your supramental, and then you have your mental body. So your mental body is your conscious mind. Then you have what is known as your vital body, which is the energy body, your frequency, your vibration. You know, there's a saying, people say energy doesn't lie. If you walk into a room, or if someone doesn't like you, right? We're not getting too political here, right? But somebody doesn't really favor you. You pick up the energy. If you're vexed, you're married, you have a husband, common law, whatever the case may be. If you are upset with that individual and you're all in the same house, the energy is what? Different. Because frequency, vibration, you're going to give off a different energy. You give off different different energy fields depending on your emotion. You know? If you're vexed, the energy field that you're going to give off is not the same as when you're happy. Or when you're concentrating, when you're in deep thought. That's why I'm a huge advocate of meditation. And meditation is not necessarily only, again, it's not religious, but spiritual. And a lot of people don't understand that. There's something known as grounding. Why do you think there's ground in the house? Electrical. You don't know the human body requires grounding? You know you have electrical current running through your body. Why do you think your heart is beat? So you have to understand that a chemical response in the body can give you a physical outcome. Right? What do you think hormones are? Hormones are chemical messengers. So when your body produces estrogen as a female, that is a chemical that is going to send a message to give you a physiological response, which is your menstrual cycle. Right? When your heart, there are certain aspects as it relates to the heart and your heart beating. That is electrical currents that is now giving a what? A physiological response, which is the beating of your heart. So once you understand that, you're able to have a certain level of control of how healthy you are. So in other words, I'm saying all of that to say that your mind and that spiritual aspect is a powerful thing. And it is something we call downward causation, which means for the top body, the spiritual body affects the mental body. The mental body affects, the supramental, the spiritual body, affects the supramental body. The supramental body affects the mental body. The mental body affects the vital body. And the vital body affects the physical body. But downward causation, so the spiritual body could directly affect the physical body. The supramental or the subconscious mind could directly affect the physical body. Right? I want to go into that. That's a whole, that is a lecture at the last days. But that's fundamentally what it is. So I'm helping you to understand that. That is what you need to do. Good morning, Doc and team, to all. Have a pleasant day. That is week 29. So you have to understand. That's why you need to give Batson Associates a visit. With that testimony I got, and one of the good things, we have some good news coming. We're going to have a nice, we're putting together some things as it relates to our diabetic clinics, and that will be all the locations, because it doesn't make any sense I just put it in one. I'll just be wasting time and money, and of course we'll be able to access more persons. So that's something to look forward to. A full-fledged diabetic clinic where we'll be doing a number of things for persons with diabetes, which would also include a wound center where we actually deal with persons who have serious wounds and the treatment of wounds, because I don't want them to cut off your foot. You don't want them to cut off your foot. Good. So we have open clinic day in Shogunas today. I'm actually working in Shogunas office today. I should be there. So that is something that you could actually avail. So we have our consultants in the offices. We have Ms. Karishma Ramdan, Mr. Paul Green. We have Mr. Rene Bastamante and Mr. Stefan Villalba. So we covered. You have people there, well-trained. When I tell you well-trained, to deal with you, to address your situations. So whether your problem is back pain, neck pain, waist pain, toe pain, you in pain, anybody who in pain want to be in pain. As I always tell them that. Because some people like to be sick enough. But I promise to behave like good boys, and I'm going to buff up anybody today, right? So, you need to fix your mix, as the people say. You can't be, if you have hypertension for years, you're doing something wrong. I'm not asking you, I am telling you. You have diabetes for years, you are doing something wrong. Some of you are just too greedy. You don't understand that food impacts. Food is chemistry. Always remember that. Food is chemistry. And chemistry, as I just briefly explained, affects the body. Those telephone numbers, again, that you can get us on as it relates to international clients. To book your consultations, you can get us on 1-868-373-2388. Again, that's 1-868-373-2388. For the international clients, for your follow-up, if you have had questions, if it is you need to submit reports to us, you need to submit things like MRIs, scans, whatever the case may be, the number to contact would be 1-868-366-0180. I'm going to have all of that on our page, and also when we finish, all the work that we're doing with our website, you'll have all that information there. Again, great things coming, bigger things coming. As I always tell persons, one of the things I live by in my life, I believe that you can always better your best in anything that you do. And we can always better our best as regards to the service that we offer for our clients and, the communication aspect. That's very, very important. Okay, so with that being said, let me just see if I can answer one or two questions before we go. I have just maybe about 4 minutes again. Ms. Kathleen Ishmael, my darling, a pleasant good morning to you. May God bless you. She says, blessings, Dr. Watson. Susan Baker, could you repeat the time for walk-in today? I did not hear. So walk-in clinics or, for the Shogunas office or any of our offices, especially today, it's from 9:30 to 5 o'clock. The Shogunas office, that number or location is first floor Money Talks building in Montrose, Shogunas. That number is 222-8261. For the Debe office, that number is 223-7515. St. James and all those offices have consultants. If you want a blood analysis today, that blood analysis, you heard me in the beginning, I was speaking about biological terrain, that type of thing. You want that done, you can get that done at any of those offices right now, with the exception of Tobago. And that is just simply because because of the new location we're doing, we have to ensure that we put everything in place, our microscopes and everything. Ms. Sucre is asking if we have Santulan. Yes, we do. Very quickly, those telephone numbers again, 222-8261. Debe is 223-7515. St. James is 220-8113. We are live, and you can always follow us, add us, share us on. Leave a comment, leave a review, thanks. For us, we are Batson & Associates Limited on Facebook. On Instagram, we are Batson & Associates TT. On YouTube, we are Batson & Associates Trinidad. Mr. Riza Fort de Souza said, I sent a message on Messenger for someone to contact me on the chat, and no one called me back. I also called the St. James office, and the phone kept ringing out. I am overseas, but he is in Trinidad. Okay, well, some of those numbers are usually busy sometimes. I do apologize for that, Ms. D'Souza. If you could provide us in the private message.
Send it and I'll make sure that...
Yeah, you could send it for me, please, and I'm going to ensure that I give it to them directly so that they could get back to you. I'm sorry about that. We're working, because some people sometimes fall through the cracks, but there's no excuse. I do apologize, Mr. Riza. So just send the information first, and we're going to ensure that we contact you today. Okay? In addition to that, okay, someone is asking a question. If we have eye optics formula, yes, we do have eye optics formula in stock. Ms. Didier is saying, Doc, would the eye optics help a person that is going blind? She has high blood pressure. I was telling her about the product. Well, I believe the eye optics formula could help, Ms. Didier. The thing is, I need to know a little more the extent of what the situation is. Is it macular degeneration? Is it detached retina? Is it a glaucoma situation? Is it a cataract situation? Now, the eye drop helps for all of those things, but it is very important that I get that information so that, or we get the information so that I would be able, or we rather would be able to guide her accordingly. You have been listening to Dr. Jason Batson, the Senior Medical Director at Batson Associates, supporting your health naturally. And of course, there are many other programs that we have. You can always join us on our social media platforms to get that information. I would like to say thank you very much to the Street 91.9 for having me this morning. And thank you very much to those of you who invited me into your house this morning.
And
so
listen
that,
to the Master's Radio.
May God continue to bless you. And as we always
get
say,
in touch with God.
If you think health is expensive, try sickness. If you think education is expensive, try ignorance.
You are invited to join Pastors Morris and Agnes Johnson of the Church of the Firstborn Assembly Miracle Center, located at number 399 Eastern Main Road, Guayco in Sangre Grande, for the Old Time Gospel Hour Family Radio Ministry every Sunday from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m., to the Children's Hour Worship Ministry of the Word and the Family Forum